Heartwarming indeed that we have our president back in Nigeria, and the kind of cynicism that we saw and the rumors that got the social media platforms, and what we wonder, was it well placed? Was it patriotic for people to think in the manner in which they spoke on the social media about the health of the president in the first place?
Well, he's our president. If he didn't, sometimes I think we need to appreciate the fact that once you're in public office, you become the property of the people, and you do not really determine for them how they respond to some of those kind of issues. The president was absent. It should concern everybody, but going overboard was the not appreciating the fact that it had to do with his health, and that whether old or young, that some of these challenges come, and what we needed to do was to empathize with him and pray that he comes back strong, and we're happy that he's back. And so the issues, the conversations around them, the issues that all of that threw up is in the domain of politics most of the time, and there is nothing you don't find in that situation. But happily he's back, he's healthy, and I think the worst is over for us.
Interesting, worst is over. But is there any part, I remember in 2009, there was a lot of fixing that the Constitution needed because of some of the vacuum in the relationship between the law and the disposition of the then President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. And now, this time around, do you think that there is any lesson to be learned from the President being away for 49 days? I'm not sure the Constitution has a specific time frame for the president to be away. What do you think the National Assembly or people generally, Nigerians, should be thinking in terms of what we should do with the Constitution in that regard?
Shehu, I don't think any law was broken. I think the president did what he needed to do. He transmitted a letter. There is no question of he's not infirmed in very serious terms. He didn't say he no longer can perform the function of the president on the basis of his ill health. For me, there is nothing fundamentally that is comparing the President Yar'Adua situation and this situation is comparing oranges and apples. I think, quite frankly, that this is what is important for leadership, that you have a leader who is honest enough to say, look, I need to take time out and take care of myself if necessary. And having done that, he's back. Unlike the ones that were shrouded, the situation that was shrouded in secrecy, that you didn't know what the situation was. But here, in clear terms, in many instances, it was not even we didn't find a situation in which the president went into admission in a hospital. Most of the engagements were still in the Abuja house in London. So these comparisons are necessary. We have a situation of law that is very clear that if you want to go away, you transmit a letter to the National Assembly and you give the power to some. That's why the Constitution contemplates a vice president. And once you allow that president to come into acting situation, then some of the constitutional logjam that we faced under Yar'Adua won't be necessary.
Do you see the vice president now, Yemi Osinbajo, being more as active as we've never seen any vice president as that active in the history of our democracy, at least from 1999 up until date? He was very busy in the last 2 weeks, especially. He traveled almost to every region of the country. Do you see him taking more responsibility even when the president? We saw the excuse me. We saw the capabilities of the vice president and what could be done with him. Do you see him playing more active role with his office in the coming days, even when the president is back?
But I really think that he's been playing active role. What has happened is that some of the things the president will have been doing, he had to do them. But it's credit to President Muhammadu Buhari that he doesn't feel diminished by the spark of brilliance that his subordinates show. What you find in our space is that once people see any any spark, they get very intimidated. They've not even seen the flame. Just the spark is enough to intimidate them, to worry them. But you have a president who, even by the admission of the vice president, gave him the leeway, gave him the power to do what is necessary, get the job done, and he did it the best way he knows how to do. And it's credit to Professor Osinbajo as well that he's able to bring that brilliance to bear in the way he handled. But his one presidency, what needs to be done is that what has worked well for Osinbajo, that has helped to endear this administration to Nigerians should be continued. And it is not about, no president is interested in being criticized. No president is interested in being called names. So if there are things that his vice put on the table that help to work, he can allow that to continue. And I think he has the mien and the candor to allow that to continue. And he's not, we didn't see any sense of worry that somebody is, Nigerian politicians wake up and sleep with 48 laws of power, don't outshine your master and all of that. But President Buhari doesn't seem to have read that book. And even though there are people around him who are pushing him in that direction, from what we get, it seems he's not perturbed by that.
Okay, quickly to our second issue. Yesterday, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, released a schedule on the 2019 election, which of course has thrown some bubbles in the Nigerian electoral system. What are the implications of these announcements, Mr. Ezenwa-Nwagwu? Because we now have a date for the 2019 election, which looks so much unusual. 2 years before the general election, and we have a date. What do you think? What comes to your mind when you heard INEC release these dates?
Well, I was excited because the commission had thrown off the toga of unpreparedness. The commission seems to have come to terms with the urgency that and the critical nature of election management, which requires some level of early preparation. And what that does is that it takes away tension. It takes away the creation of emergency, that we normally see.
Okay.
But having done that now,
it is... Sorry, I need to butt in here because we need to take a moment on the program. And when we come back, we look more into what INEC has done and the fact that, are they politicians? What are they also talking about? That's what we'll be talking about when we return. Mr. Ezenwa-Nwagwu is still with us on the program. Join us again.
The Commission has decided to now fix the date for national elections for the first one, presidential, the third Saturday in February of the election year. Repeat, elections to presidential elections will now hold on third Saturday of the February of the election year, followed by the National Assembly, followed by the state elections 2 weeks later. So what we are saying here, it's not just the presidential, just use that as a very big stress. The National Assembly and presidential, that's the national elections, the way you may know it. So to that end, the 2019 presidential and national assembly elections will hold on Saturday, 16th February 2019, while the governorship state constituencies FCT area council elections will hold on Saturday, 2nd March 2019.